Hi, I'm Maren and welcome back to my channel, Maren Makes It. Today, I'm going to take you guys on a short hike adventure with me, kind of more of a vlog style video than what I normally do, to Mount Falcon Park. This is how bad my directional sense is. I literally just turned the wrong way, like left instead of right. And it's like obvious that I shouldn't be going up more into the mountains. And I literally turned that way anyway. And I felt like that was the right direction. And I had the GPS on. So a little bit directionally challenged here. So I'm arrived at Mount Falcon State Park. And on the way up, driving here, I had raindrops hitting the windshield. This was like one of those days where I was super not motivated to either exercise or really go anywhere, but I knew it would make me feel a lot better. So I really wanted to push myself to get out the door and find a good hike to do that wasn't ridiculously far away. So it took me about 30 minutes to get here, kind of outside of the middle of Denver. I had to get gas on the way too, and it was $45 to fill up my tiny 10-gallon tank. And I was just like, oh my gosh, do we really want to do this? And now there's raindrops. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if there's a thunderstorm coming and I drove all the way up here, I'm going to be so annoyed. Do I risk it or do I just not even start hiking? I think I'm going to chance it and then just kind of keep monitoring the weather and then turn around if I feel like it's necessary. I got my backpack, my map, and I am ready to go. Little Red is in park and we're ready to go. Check this out. We can see a little mountain village here off in the distance. I wonder if it's actually the one that I drove through in order to get up to this state park. We can also see snow-capped mountain peaks in the background. And then if we zoom out, there's this weird zone here where all the trees are completely fallen over. It doesn't really look like they're burned to me, but maybe almost like an avalanche. I don't know, there's a whole stripe of it going up this side of this mountain. The weather has been honestly kind of funky the whole time. I can't decide if I need sunglasses or not. There's kind of glare from the cloud cover, but it's not hot, it's not cold. It's really weird. It's pretty windy. But then if you like get on the other side of the mountain, it's like really calm again. And it kind of looks like it's gonna thunderstorm, but it's looked like that for a while. I actually almost didn't even do this hike because I was a little bit nervous about the possible impending thunderstorms to be on top of the mountain for. But I figured I could still squeeze in something short, better than nothing, and I already drove all the way up here. So this is our view when we get to kind of the turnaround point of our hike today. You can see over the mountains, and then you can actually even see to Denver. I found some people here that were at a lookout point a little bit further on for scale. And if I zoom in here, you can actually see the skyscrapers of Denver. Another cool feature that you can see is going to be the red rocks. So these are kind of pressed up against the Rocky Mountains. I know there are red rocks outside of Colorado Springs and also as far north as Boulder. So I think they do run along most of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. So I just learned that there was actually almost another White House built in Colorado up in the mountains, so it was kind of going to be a summer escape for the president, and they began to lay the foundation for it, but in the end it never got completed, but the ruins of that are still here. There's also the ruins of the Walker Mansion up here, and John Walker seemed to be the guy that was really pushing for this to become a summer White House up here, so you can see those as well. And I was real confused because I didn't know this was going to be on this trail. And then I approached this thing and it suddenly says like, oh, here's the ruins of the White House. And you're like, wait, what? Like the other White House? What the heck is that? But I love these kind of new discoveries that you find unexpectedly. This is definitely a really good reminder that I need to get out in nature more again. It's definitely something I have not been prioritizing, and it really does feel different to explore a new place while walking versus just like walking circles around your neighborhood. I have not been feeling the motivation to exercise at all. I think part of that is because I've just been walking boring circles around my neighborhood. Alright, so I'm just walking back to my car now. Humans are such creatures of habit. I just had this random thought while in the bathroom that I'd rather go in the same bathroom stall and know exactly how gross it's gonna be than try any of the other ones that might actually be cleaner than the one that I used before, but I would rather know exactly how gross the bathroom is that I'm getting. That just made me think how funny it is that habit and familiarity is like so strong with people, and people seek out what they know even if they know it's not good sometimes. Alright, so I'm back at my car. I'm really glad I decided to venture out there and do it anyway. It was definitely very needed. I just kind of felt myself like exhale the second I got into the fresh air, and just the smell of the trees. I haven't had that in a while because I have just been so busy that I have been really neglecting exercise and also getting outside of the city and getting fresh air, honestly. Because on that city walking, like even if you go to a park, it's just not the same. You can never quite get in like the zone when you have to like press the crosswalk buttons like all the time, it feels like. So I'm really glad I ended up coming out here anyway. The hike I ended up doing was about 4 miles. I would say this was an unexpected gem if I had to rate this hike. First of all, it was only 30 minutes to get here outside of Denver. Oh, that's pretty close to be able to access a place that feels really remote and has some gorgeous views. There was enough people that I felt safe hiking. Also, for a Saturday afternoon, it was not crowded here at all. I mean, there was enough people that I felt safe hiking alone, which is always nice, but it wasn't so many that it's super crowded. You kind of always want to find that ratio, I feel like, between okay, there's people, so I don't feel like I'm perfectly alone in the middle of nowhere. And then also there's so many people that it like gets annoying. The trail was also pretty wide and pretty flat, which was actually great for my ankle. But it made it easier too with people, because when the trails are really narrow, passing people can get definitely a little bit more tricky. Third, it was free. The state parks here are actually kind of expensive, and the national parks obviously cost money. And I feel like there's not a lot of other choices, like other than like parks that feel very city or very suburban. And the other thing I'll say to that is that the ratio of how far you have to hike versus the goodness of the views that you get was very good. It was a 10 out of 10, 5 stars out of 5 stars. I was very surprised. You pretty much have really nice views the entire time. I ended up hiking 4 miles, so basically like 2 out and 2 back. And it was actually just as much fun to walk the way back, because now you're kind of getting the other view that you didn't have before, because the views are kind of good like all the way around, like 360 kind of views. And to just put a cherry on top of everything that already made this hike pretty cool, I was so excited to discover the Walker House and the other White House. I mean, how cool is that they almost built a president's summer vacation home out here, which was inspired by the castles in the mountains of Europe that the kings used to go out to for like their summer homes. And kind of weird to think how that might have changed history if the last 100 years there had been a presidential summer home out here. Anyways, I do still have to do a little drive home, so I'm just gonna do that now, put on some music, which I cannot share with you guys because it will get copyright striked. So I'm gonna put in some copyright-free music for you guys to listen to while I listen to my very much copyrighted music on the way home. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys do to kind of recharge when you're feeling really overwhelmed and when you're kind of feeling burnout setting in? I'd love to hear your ideas. I think getting out into nature always helps me, but I know there's other things that would definitely work too. So I'm always curious to hear what you guys are up to. As always, thank you so much for watching. Bye, YouTube.